Okay, this is Lab7 again, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at changing the code about a wee bit so that we can change essentially the asteroids into something which effectively would be Space Invaders. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the movement of the rocket so that we restrict it to moving only on the X, and we'll position it closer to the bottom of the screen. So the first thing that we'll do here is we'll change here where we've got the rocket.set sprite position. Now we'll leave it at 500 on X because that's roughly halfway in the screen, but 350 is halfway down the screen as well. So what we'll do is we'll make that say, how big is it? It's 128, so it'll need to be about 600, I think. Okay, so we'll do that. Well, first of all, we'll run that, see what we get, see if that's roughly in the position we want, and if not, we'll adjust it. I'm trying to take into account the fact it's 128 pixels high. So let's see. There we go. That's close enough. That'll do for just now. So that's the first thing. We've set it there. Now the next thing that we can do is, if you notice at 99 we've got set sprite translation, and it's a constant translation of 50 on the X and 50 on the Y. Well, we can change that to be 0 because we're not going to move on the Y axis at all. Okay, and then the other thing that we do is we'll go down into the input, get input, and when we get down into the get input, what we're going to do is we're going to change it about a bit. So where we've got up and down arrow keys, I'm going to use left and right instead. So I don't need, I really don't need this line here to rotate it because I'm going to keep it like a Space Invader, just strictly to movement on the X. So we don't need any rotation, and we can take it out of there. And what we'll do is we'll copy, or we'll cut out these lines here that were on the up and down arrows. Okay, so we'll take that one away from there and we'll put that here. Okay, and that will apply to that, and we'll just take this one away as well from here, and we'll apply it in here. So if we move left or right, then we change the way the rocket moves. Now once we've done that, what we need to do is we also need to go into the rocket.cpp, and we need to make some changes in the update function. Now we no longer need this direction because we were essentially using the direction so that we could capture which way we had done the rotation. So we don't need that now, so we can comment it out. We don't need to move on Y, so we can comment that out as well. And we no longer need this direction of X, so we can take that out of there. And sometimes what I do with it, put in a couple of comments there and then just paste it in there, and I know where it is should I need it. So we'll save this, we'll go back into C game and we'll run it and see what we get this time. Now hopefully what we should get is sideways movement. Okay, and we can go left or right and it will hopefully still hit the bounds of the screen. Okay, so there we go, he's off and running, he's just constantly moving to the right. Hopefully he'll bounce off of there, which he does, and move back over there. Don't worry about those asteroids, we're going to change them in a minute, so that what happens with the asteroids is they'll move from the top of the screen down. Okay, and hopefully he'll move in and hit this side again, so we've got a nice movement. Now if we use the left and right arrow keys, we can change the direction, as you can see there. Okay, so that's the direction changing there. Okay, so let's see what we can do with these asteroids. So what we're wanting to do with the asteroids is, if we go back into C game and we go back up to initialize, we've got our 5 asteroids that we create somewhere. There we go. Sit there. Now you can see that we generate random positions for them. Okay, now what we could do this time is, if it's a Space Invaders type game, then generally speaking they would be just based in a set kind of position, so a set column position if you like. So what we can do there is we can say, right, where are we starting them? well, if we've got 5 Space Invaders, we probably want to start them maybe at 50. Maybe at 50. Okay, and on the Y, now what we're going to do is we're going to place them on the Y basically kind of above where the screen starts. So we can place them at say minus, I'm trying to think how big these sprites are. We'll say, make them minus 75, that should be probably okay. Minus 75. Okay, and we won't change that there, we won't randomize that position. They're always going to start off screen at that position. And what we'll do as well is we'll change the row where they appear, but we won't do it using random numbers. So what we'll do is we will start by using the value of Astro. So we'll multiply by Astro plus 1, because remember it starts at 0, so that would mean we wouldn't start at position 1, we would start at position 50. Okay, and that means each time round we should be placed a wee bit further along. Now, it might be a good idea also, like we did with the card game, to have a regular offset, so that because we know that the length of these, or the width, sorry, of these asteroids varies. So what we'll do is we'll say 50 times Astro times 1 plus, okay, and then we'll have an offset of say 50, and we'll multiply that by Astro, which just simply means that on the first time round we won't get that 50, so it should start at 50 minus 75. Now the sprite translation, that's how fast it's going to move. So it's not going to move on X, it's going to move on Y. Okay, so we're just going to put 0 in there, and we can leave it at minus 50. Okay, and the speed that it moves at is currently 200. So we'll leave that like that as well. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, so there they are, they're rotating and they're falling down the screen. So they're not moving off, they're just rotating and falling down the screen. Now these images are not so good, so it means that the sizes are a wee bit out from our positions. So stop that there, and we'll have a wee look. What I'll do is I'll maybe, or what you could do is change the images, but you get the point of what's happening there, of how it's moving down. So now that we've done that, if you don't want them to rotate, then we'll go into asteroids.cpp, and we'll do the same thing as we did before. There's certain things that we just don't need anymore, so we can just take them away. Okay, so it's not going to move on X, so we don't need to have that line. It's not going to, or we're not going to make it rotate, we're not going to use the rotation. So what we're going to do there is simply just highlight this and comment it out, and let's see what happens this time. Okay, so I've got no rotation at all there, and they're just falling down the screen. Okay, just in a very static way, which is fine. And if we shoot them, we get them, and you can move along, and hopefully you get them all before they hit the end. There we go, and that's you. Okay, so hopefully that helps, and you can see how we've changed the movement there. Now you could equally change the sprites into anything else that you wanted. It would make the basis for a reasonably good sort of catch type game. But you can see how quickly we've changed that around, okay, into doing something a bit different. Now the next thing that we'd probably want to do is spawn some more asteroids. Okay. Now once we've beaten the first wave of asteroids or space invaders, whatever we're playing, we really would like to add some more. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the code about a wee bit in order to do that. Now one of the things that we're going to have to do is repurpose this code here at 104. So we're going to repurpose this and we're going to move it into the input function. But when we do that, we'll get an issue here with this asteroid text, this, because at the moment it's been declared as a local variable here. So what we want to do is grab this code here and we want to just do a Control X or a Control C. I'm going to do a Control C, and then I'm going to basically comment it out so that I can leave it there and know what I was doing before. And we're going to go into C game, and then underneath these private ones, just around about here at line 42, we'll paste that code in there. Now what that means is it's now available to everything in the C game class. Okay, we can access that, which will allow us to just cut and paste and copy some code. Now while we're here, what we're going to do is, in order to spawn an extra wave, we're just going to use a simple frame counter, and we're going to say int frames, and we're going to set that to 1. Okay, and then we'll use that again later on inside the update code. So we'll go back into cgame.cpp, and what we're going to do is essentially take this code here, so this block of code here, we're going to take that and we're going to copy it down into the update function, and then we're going to amend it slightly. Okay, and we're going to amend it such that it's in an if statement and it's based on the frames. So I'm running short time in this video, so what I'll do is I'll cut and paste some code that I already have, and I'll explain what this does. Okay, so this code I'm going to paste in the update function. So we'll go down to the update function, and just after we've updated the rocket, we'll go in here and I'll paste in this code. Now what's happening here is 296, okay, we're updating frames. So remember, we set frames to 1, so we're now going to, each time through the update, we're going to update it. And what we're going to do is, we're going to say if frames %360 equals 0. Now what we're doing is modulus arithmetic, and we're basically saying every time we divide by 360, if we get a 0 as the return value, then it's time to spawn a new wave. Now we can't directly use the for loop the same way as we did the last time, so we're creating some temporary variables. Okay, they're local to this section of code, and once this section of code has been executed, they will disappear. So we take the current size and we make sure we've got that of the asteroids vector. We find out the end position where we want to stop the loop, and that is basically the current size plus 5, because we're just having banks of 5, and we're setting count to 1. Now count we're going to use in here, okay, to line 285, the same way as we did with Astro. This time we're going to use count, so it's 50 times count. We've set count at 1, so that gives us our first place of 50, plus 50 pixels times count minus 1, so that means that we should get 0 space in there, and then minus 75, so it gives us 50 for the first one. Okay, and then we'll increment count, and then we'll basically increment frames. So having done that, let's basically run this and see if we get the desired effect. So what we should get is hopefully banks of basically these asteroids falling down towards us that we can shoot. So there's the first bank. Because they're so close together, we're kind of getting double collisions, but don't worry about that once you space it out. And here comes the next wave of asteroids, and their scores going up. Oh, and we've got a few there, and of course you could change the speeds and do things like that just so that you could